First Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32. Of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do, the heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their command. You know, there is nothing bigger than or better than having an understanding of times and seasons. Nothing could be better, because when that is grasped, every other thing falls in place. The Bible tells us that those children of Issachar, they had an understanding of the time. They knew what they ought to do, what was expected of them, and what they were to deliver, and what they were, not just what to do, what they were not supposed to do. They had all that understanding, and that made people to be at their beck and call. People submitting to them. When you have an understanding, you know what you are supposed to do. It's a natural law. People and things and resources will submit to you. It's just natural. When you speak, the answer. But that is not to say that things may not be stored, that things may not happen at exactly, but when you have it, you are at peace that you know you have it. And eventually, one way or the other, these things will come to be. You know, looking at Bible commentary on that, it said they understood public affairs, the temper of the nation, the tendencies of the present event. How well do you understand things that are happening in and around you? Many people are just too careless about the times that they are in. Very, very careless. Are you one of such? The message this morning could be God is telling you, you need to begin to take note of tiny little details of time. And in as much as we have been talking about the time of life, my message today is that it is time. It is time. This is it. How much longer will you keep going in circles? This is it. And funny enough, or seriously enough, maybe we have not looked at it that way, but today we'll be saying it, that time is the only God-created resource that was given to every man on an equal platter. It is the only resource. Nothing else. Nobody has an extra second more, or somebody being in short of it. No matter the location of the world, the part of the world, they still experience their 24 hours in full. Even the oxygen we breathe, no two persons breathe exactly the same, because our lungs capacity are not the same as for human beings. So time is the only resource that is given to us on an equal platter. Time, they say, is money. And then somebody said time is the currency of the 21st century. When you miss it, you miss a lot. So many people are so reckless and careless with time. They don't care. You know, we have drug abusers, we have marriage abusers, we also have time abusers. So many people are time abusers. Worse, they abuse time even with respect to God. Service is 6:30 in the evening, and people will be strolling in. You know, I used to, back in Lagos, I would say, you are in and around the vicinity of the church, service will start by 6:30. Somebody that went to work on the island will arrive probably after 7, and somebody that is just living that can be hearing the praise and worship will still arrive 7:30. Church. Time abuses. You will feel, if I go there, maybe I will be the first person. And then everybody is thinking the same way. If I go there, I'll be the first person. And then the things don't happen. You know, when I got there and people were saying, what time do we fix the program? They'll say 5 for 6. 5 for 6. How? What does that mean? Meaning that we'll fix the time 5 so that people will, by 6 at least we will see them. Jesus Christ, with God. And then that aside, people don't keep appointments. They don't keep time of appointments. You have appointments, you don't keep to time. To go to program, you cannot go early. You know, if you invite me to a program, I will ask you, what time is your program at? 4 o'clock. You are sure it's 4 o'clock? Because I will be there before 4 o'clock. Most times they invite me to speak somewhere, I will just come, and then the people that you have to speak to, they have not come. Then I will just sit behind. While they will come, they will not know it's me, and then I will just be watching things. And you know, for those of us that talk too much, positively anyway, you just be picking up things that you used to preach. Just looking at the people going around and doing their things that would have been hidden from you. Praise the Lord. You know, when you do not keep to time, you miss out of the perfect flow of life. Time is life. I can't believe that you would have still been here. After all these years, after all this time of life that I've given you, there should be progress. There should be movement. There should be expansion. People should see you and know that something has changed concerning you. But unfortunately for most people, the only thing that changes about them is probably their hairstyle, their clothes, and very commonly their phones. But nothing about their personal life, as in personal development and growth. Me, I cannot use phone for 6 months. You change it back. From January to December, what has changed concerning your contents, who you are, spiritually, career-wise, relational-wise, social-wise, what has changed concerning? So many people do not engage any development on themselves over the time of the year. 365 days, they remain the same. 365 days, they remain the same. And some people think that they are gaining knowledge reading social media. It's accidental knowledge. It's not intentional. And what you get is accidental results. No two ways about it. His life is garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in positive term. What you put in is what you get out. If you don't put in, one of my quotes, if you don't put in the required, you will not get out the desired. If you like, let them put you in front. Call Papa Deboye, call Bishop Oyedepo, call all the rest, and they use one cheapy tank of Goya oil. You are going nowhere. There are several passages in the Bible about timing and the usage of it. One was the 10 virgins. Matthew chapter 25 verses 1 to 13. The 10 virgins. We know the story, the parable. And you will notice that they were not just outsiders or sinners who didn't have knowledge. They were already inside. For them to be going to see the bride, the groom, they were already inside. And so you could be in church and then not be like the children of Issachar, not have an understanding of the time or play with time. You could be in church full of activities, but busy without fruits, busy standing still. I don't know where you are going. I'm always, everywhere I use it, busy standing still. There's a book of his. I don't know why he has not found the manuscript again to publish that book. and I can't find it too because I had it. It was yet unpublished. Busy Standing Still. I think it was published, but not many copies produced. I've been begging him to please go back. I keep using that quote. So many people are busy standing still. See them from pillar to post, running from one thing to another, but no results to show. Just like the fig tree. Jesus saw it from far. One of my friends would say it was fine from far, but far from fine. When he got there, there was nothing to show for it. So many lives are like that. Busy. That's why you need to organize yourself, you need to think, you need to plan, you need to ask God for direction, you need to discover your purpose. Because any life that there is no purpose, you don't know your purpose, you are abusing the life. No two ways about it. Because you are not doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. The life is being abused. The time is going. You are missing out of time of life. And so there were 10 virgins. 10 had an understanding of the times. At that time, our oil would have been out. I think we need to get oil. And they discussed. And I'm sure if you check them well, those 5, they would have been the ones that were taking first to fifth in class, if there were 10 of them in that class. You know, the ones that are bright. I would often wonder why back then when I was still in the school, why those who were bright students, you will always see them clustered together, trying to broke maths like we use it. While those ones that were dull will be forming that they are solving maths together. So in this situation, I think the first 5, they would have been the first 5 in the class. This oil will not be okay for us, so this is what we need to do. We need to get extra oil. We knew the times. Let's not break the flow. Let's be ready to move on from that point to the next point. Many of us don't plan for the next point. How many people have their goals? I always put out that my quote: you do not deserve to put a spoon of Christmas rice or chicken in your mouth until your goals for the coming year is in place. Until your goals is set. What are your plans for next year? To shout Happy New Year on 31st December. Crossing over. Cross over to what? Cross over to another nothingness, and the years keep running. Missing out of the time of life. The 10 virgins, 5 knew what they ought to do, and they did. The parable of the talents, still the same Matthew 25. Still in the same Matthew 25. The parable of the talents, he gave them. To one he gave 5, to one he gave 2, to one he gave 1. Those ones knew that, my master has gone. He's coming back at so time. I think I need to put this to work. God has given every man something. What are you giving back? Anybody who is not giving something back is always taking. Is of the devil. I'm being very harsh there. The Bible tells us that God is love. Isn't it? He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. And the Bible tells us that God so loved the world, and he gave. First thing he did was to give. If you love God, you'll be giving. You give your time, you give your service in church, you give your service to humanity, you will give your knowledge. Even your knowledge, even if it is for money, you will give it. Steve Jobs gave his knowledge for money. It is paying us today. That's what we are using. That's what we are using. He gave it for money, but it's knowledge. Bill Gates gave us, it's for money, but we are using it. He gave it. There are people who have knowledge and will never allow that people to know about it. They are hiding it, hoarding it. So if you are always looking to take, especially from the church, people are always looking to take from the church. You don't want to give. It's not only money, your time, your service, your wisdom, your knowledge, your network. Give. When you give in this, you are getting yourself in the flow of life. And they understood. They said, our master will soon be back. How well do you understand the time to do the things that you're supposed to do, knowing that the master will call you back one day for accountability? You're going to be audited, everybody, because everybody has a talent. Something God has deposited in us. If you go down, by the time you go to that one that did not use his time well, the one with the 1 talent, He said, "Sir, me, I know you have always been a wicked man. You like to reap where you did not sow." You can see the master did not challenge him that, "Me, wicked?" He said, "You knew all this. You collected it. You reject the light. Since you know too much, the time God is trying to form you in your mother's womb, tell him that I'm not coming. Because he must put something in you. That's the time you should tell him that I'm not coming. I'm not coming. Please, I'm not coming." But once you have come into this life, you came with something and you must give it. In that time of life that he has given you, you must give it. So many people live their lives to adulthood without knowing what their purpose is or what God created them to do. It's not late. You are still in the time of life. You can still ask him. If anyone seeketh wisdom, you should ask from God, who graciously gives and will not withhold. Finally, as we round up, I want to show you something very seriously. Exodus chapter 14, the Red Sea experience. What we need to do with time, how we need to deal with time to get to from verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. They were at a point in time in their life. So they were afraid, and the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. Next. Then they said to Moses, "Because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us this way, away to die in the wilderness? Why have you so dealt with us, to bring us up out of Egypt?" 12. Is it not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve? You know, so many people regret the extent God has taken them. The good old days. See what they were telling Moses? Somebody that is bringing freedom to you. That's how your pastor will want to be teaching you ways to advance. The way they teach said, just they disturb us, they worry us. Now by force, message after message. We no longer want discipleship. We don't want to sit and learn. You know, it's worse in Lagos. Just want to blow. And worse in church. Instrumentalists. Oh gosh. I always say it. I don't spare it when I have to speak about it. You can't keep a standard choir any longer because the people are just looking for what they take. No desire for service to God. Well, Scripture says in those days the love of many will wax cold, but let it not be yours. Let it not be yours, because there's grave consequences for it. They were telling Moses, when you were going, he said, they were telling him that, you know, when Moses was always passing to go to Pharaoh's palace in the course of those 10 plagues, they were saying, "Bros Mo, you sure say this thing will work? You sure say this thing?" They were telling him there, is this not this thing that we were telling you? Is this not what we were begging, we were kneeling down and begging you? Leave this man, no. His mind too strong. But you kept going and going and going. Now the small victory they celebrated that night, the previous night, when they collected gold and they forgot about it. He brought us to the wilderness to kill us. So many of us are like that in our life. We may not say it openly with our mouths, but our mannerisms, the things we do, the way we behave, we are saying, it would have been better, let's just be there. Let's have just gone back to Egypt. Just there. And then they cried. Let's go to 14. One of the most, I think the most dramatic. 13, 14. Let's go to 13 first. And Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today." And this line, I think, is the most sweetest in prayer in Christendom. "For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see them no more." We would have expected a clap from the next verse, but you see what will happen. Next verse 14. "The Lord will fight for you and you will hold your peace." 15. Immediately after this, look at what the Lord said. In fact, I'm sure he did not even allow Moses to land. "Why do you cry to me? children of Israel to go forward. Now is the time to go forward. That's why this our message today is saying it is time. It is time to go forward. If you remain like this next year, something is seriously wrong with you. And so from today, you must think, what will I do to myself? What will I do to the church? What will I do to my career so that I will not remain the same like 2022? Because go forward. What is that? Next verse. As I round up, lift up the rod. No, 15, I think, was that 15? It's 16, okay. Lift up your rod and so he said, what is that in your hand? First asking, God is asking, what is that talent I'm putting here that should make you go forward, that you can use to advance? Lift it up. Let's rise on our feet. What has God placed in you? What has God given to you? What has God put in you that you should use to advance your life and get to the next level in this time of life that He has given you?